Welcome back everyone to Phil Rider's Diaries, and it's been a little time since I put a video out. I've been away on the bike touring through Europe, which has been great, and I'm really going to talk about that today, I suppose, because if you're like myself and you've never done touring, then I highly recommend it, to see if you can do it and to see if your bike can do it, and you know, just find a few of your limits and what you're happy to do. So my journey was actually through France and Germany. Just tucked in on Germany just to see a friend, but really it's all around France. And because I live up in Cumbria, I've got a good 500-kilometre ride. I'm going to be talking in kilometres because most of it's in kilometres. A 500-kilometre ride down to the south coast to pick up my ferry to get across to France. Bit too fast. And then the journey begins. So it's all different once I'm in France. First things I'd recommend are, if you're going to book up via the internet your first night's accommodation, do make sure you get a reply. Don't think just because you've paid for this that your accommodation has been accepted. It doesn't always work like that, especially out of season. What I found was, I turned up at my hotel to find it entirely locked up. There was no one staying there, there was no one in the place. This is end of May, so it's shoulder season, but I still would have expected, you know, a certain amount of traffic going in and out of the place. As it turns out, I was staying there. The owner hadn't got back to me, but he did very kindly leave the key in a safe box outside, which wasn't locked, and just told me to let myself in and we'll sort it out in the morning. So straight off the bat, they don't do things in quite the same way as we do on the continent. Other thing I noticed when I was over there, apart from the obvious, like you're riding on the wrong side of the road and everything's in kilometres and everything's in euros, is that in the small towns or any of the back streets of the larger towns and cities, they have something called priorité de droit. Now what this means is you give way to traffic emerging on the right hand side. In simple terms, if you're going down just a regular suburban back road and a car arrives at a junction on the right hand side, you have got to stop to let him out. Which sounds absolutely nuts to us, and it is. It's crazy. Even the French don't like it. But this is their law and this is what they do. On a road like this, the comparable road in France, it doesn't happen. We understand that there are NND roads, which are very much like our A and B roads. There's just too much progress being made. You can't stop. It's unacceptable. The car behind wouldn't stop, perhaps. So that's the first thing. Priorité de droit. It's a bit of nonsense that the French like to stick to. And you may be wondering to yourself, Roman, if you was over in France touring on a motorcycle, then why didn't you do a blog over there? And the reason for that is because this is my first time riding in Europe for 17 years. It's a long time. And apart from many other factors you've got to consider, being, as I've said, speed limits. French are very big on their speed limits. Riding on the wrong side of the road. Looking at the sat-nav because I don't know where I'm going. You don't really have the time to think about what you're going to say on a vlog. Your mind's too occupied, it's doing too many other things. So that's the reason why I didn't do a vlog while I was abroad. The other one really is because I was visiting friends. It's personal, it's my trip, it's no one else's, and my job is to tell you about it now to all those who are interested. So that's why I never did a vlog while I was in France. The good news about France is it's a very, very beautiful place to ride around. It's I wouldn't say it's any more beautiful than our Fair Isle, but it has a nicer climate which makes the countryside more acceptable. I know Mr. Blackbird's just stretching his legs. Let's see if we can make our way past him, because I'm sure he's not a local here. There we go, thank you mate. Yes, it's a lovely country to ride around. And I recommend you do a variety of routes. You can do the N and D roads, you can do the auto routes. If you're doing as I was doing, visiting friends or going to campsites, you can't help but come across these smaller roads as well. So you're going to get a variety of roads whether you like it or not. Because time was of the essence and I wanted to spend more time with friends than I did riding, so I was riding on my own. There's no really enjoyment in riding on your own on really good roads because you've got no one to share it with. So I stuck mainly to the auto routes and the toll roads, which works out fairly expensive. I suppose I spent about €100 in 10 days riding round the Piage routes. And they vary in price. Normally it's just €2 or €3 here or there. From from Rennes up in the north to Bordeaux, which is my first route, that was €28 to use the road. €28. That's almost a plane ticket from Stansted to Bordeaux. Probably is on a good day. The benefit of riding on the toll roads, of course, you don't have as much traffic, and that traffic can make better progress. You can do 130 kilometers an hour, which is 80 miles an hour in my book, or 85 according to the VFR Speedo. And you can cover some distance in that time. I was doing, I guess, between 500 and 600 kilometers every day. Every other day, not every day. Every other day, I'd say. Which is a lot, to be honest. I found it a lot, even with my little flip-up screen on the front, and as good as the VFR is, it's the rider really that was the weak link, particularly my right wrist, because that's the one that's always keeping tension on the throttle. That's the one that's always got to keep hold of it. I'm taking left one off, that's not a problem. And I've got dreadful pain in my forearms and in my right wrist. Oh, a bit wide elf. So yeah, basically from Caen down to Bordeaux, across the central Massif. This is France's ancient volcanic region, and you can see quite clearly some beautifully conical ancient volcanoes. And due to the volcano's nature, you've got very lush ground around there. You've got very lush ground around there. You've got a lot of national parks. It's extremely beautiful. And I stayed in a small place just outside of Saint-Étienne, which was an old French hamlet converted into a hostel. Every building in this hamlet was now part of the hostel, so it's a 97-bed hostel. And because I turned up on a Sunday evening and it's in shoulder season, again I was the only one there. And it's a beautiful place to be. So much so I'd strongly consider going back there and asking to work there through the summer period, just renting a flat out and taking off and learning French and another way of life. That would be just great. But no, I had to leave there. Went on to Freiburg in Germany to catch up with an old friend of mine who I met when I was in New Zealand, and stayed with himself and his girlfriend for a couple of days. Good to see Christoph again. And then left him, went on to Strasbourg to catch up with an old friend I used to play volleyball with years and years and years ago. It was good to see Fabian and Simone and the kids. And I got about 3 or 4 days of R&R. And then it was ready for the long hike back to Calais, and that was another 600 kilometres. Too close, Elf, look at that. And that took me back to good old Blighty. A couple of friends on the south coast, a couple of family in Essex before I went back up to Cumbria. And that was it. 14 days, 4,100 kilometers, I think it was. And smiles all round. Would I do it again? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think I'd do it again on my own. There is a boredom factor attached to riding for 6-7 hours a day, whatever it might be, on your own. With someone else, you've got someone to share it with, you've got some banter, you can talk it backwards and forwards, that's not a problem. But on your own, no, I don't think so. And especially if I was only going to see friends. If I was going to see a country, then that would be different. But if I was going to see friends, I might as well just jump on the EasyJet. I did 13 fuel stops throughout those miles, which means that this hill go managed 45 to the gallon, which is absolutely fine. But the fuel stops came in at something like £390 all told. Add in another oneer for the toll roads, and you talk about close on 500 quid to take the bike abroad. Now, some people might think that's a bargain. My idea of a bargain is a £30 EasyJet ticket. So I would do it slightly different next time, and that I'd let the plane take the strain. We'll see. At the moment we're 95,000 miles and I've got every intention of getting this into 6 figures. Oh, you are turning left. Oh joy. Can't do it there, don't have the vision. That one I do. So if you're thinking about doing a European trip on your bike, what I would say is do it. It's well worth doing. It's a great experience, but I would do it with friends. If I could do it again, I would keep it to 350-400 kilometers a day, because after that it becomes a bit laborious. Vary your journey, go to different roads, go to different towns. Don't necessarily go to the big showy places either. It's quite nice to locate yourself outside so you don't have to live and breathe a big city. You've got a number of hoops to jump through in order to get your bike over there. So they talk about wearing high-vis jackets. I didn't see many people with high-vis jackets, to be honest. They talk about having to bring a breathalyzer. Well, I brought a breathalyzer. If you wear glasses, you've got to take a spare set of glasses. They ask you to bring a spare set of bulbs. Well, that's not a bad idea anyway. Breakdown recovery, that's always a good idea, because you never know what's going to happen. And especially if you can get breakdown recovery that's got repatriation, the one that gets your bike back home. I said some of this in the previous blog before I went. Stick to speed limits, that's a big one, especially for someone like me who drives for a living. I've been terrified of these past 2 weeks and what might come through a letterbox. But the French are very big on their speed limits. Got covert speed cameras and zero tolerance and all that other good stuff. And to top it all off, now I'm back in England and we're approaching, well, not the height of summer, but certainly the longest day. And it's before all the holidays have broken up, all the school holidays have broken up, so I've virtually got this place to myself again on another beautiful day. Yeah, we make the most of these. As for the bike, it performed absolutely superb. It averaged good fuel, it stayed at 130 kilometers a day for 6 hours a day. It didn't miss a beat, it didn't overheat. Came back with slightly loose head bearings, that's about it. That's about the worst I can say it did. But it continues to impress year after year after year, mile after mile. It doesn't do anything wrong. And like I said, the weakest link now is the rider. So I may be looking into getting back into the IAM training. We'll see about that one. I did it back in '99. It made a big difference to my riding. And curiously enough, that was after I'd been to France as well. So it seems that every time I come to France, I come back thinking I need more training. And see if we can iron out some of these bugbears that I don't like about my riding at the moment. There's no bottle in the corners, that's for sure. So there you go, a quick breakdown on my little jaunt over to France. Then we'll see if my car's ready. It's in for its valve clearances today and a timing chain, so take care everyone. I'll see you all soon.